Welcome back. I'm Julian at Just Inspired and I'm happy you're here with me. So a customer has contacted me, asked me to have a look at a Yamaha soundbar. Let's see if we can find the email. Here we go. So it's the Yamaha TV soundbar YSP 900. Was working fine, but now won't power on. It seems like a known problem with the failed capacitor. And he's included a link to a website that had done one previously. So this one is a slightly different model. This one is, I think, it's a HTY 750. So I found that it was slightly different to open it, but I think it's the same sort of configuration, and the board looks completely different. There's actually two boards in the one I took apart, and basically it boils down to, oh, there is two boards in that one. Right, okay. I didn't have this bit on top. Weird. Okay. Yeah, it goes straight to this board here, and we've got that little bridge there. I didn't have one of those. This is something he said was too hard to pull off, but you're not supposed to pull it off because that's soldered on there. So don't try to pull that off. So yeah, same sort of capacitor, but in a slightly different place. I think it might be the same place. Yeah, same place. Sorry, my fault. And he switched it out with a bigger one because he didn't have the same physical size. And it is this one here. That's the one that normally goes bad, apparently. So I couldn't get the capacitors by themselves. Well, I could buy one, but it cost me like £8 for one. So, and I didn't want to get some cheap Amazon thing or eBay thing, so I got some from RS Components. So I had to buy the minimum, which was 25. So I can do 24 more soundbars after this. Right, so let's have a look at the board under the microscope. Let's get that out. Let's see if we can spot it there. Alright, let's switch to the scope. And there he is, the culprit. Well, we assume that is the culprit. Oh, a word of warning. If you're going to take this apart, just double check that the capacitor, the main high voltage capacitor, is discharged. So yeah, before you mess about, we've got a 400 volt capacitor there. You don't want to be on the wrong end of that. It's a spicy boy, so I'm going to just double check with the voltmeter. Let's get the voltmeter on screen. Okay, are we in DC volts? Yeah, DC volts. Negative is on that side, so yeah, that seems to be completely empty. Probably has a bleeder resistor somewhere that drains it down slowly. So I did have a quick look and I couldn't see anything else obvious wrong with it, so yeah, it's just possibly that capacitor. So I've got some gunk there. I need to try and get that off. The sealant. Jeez, that is hard. That is crazy hard. And it is right over where I want to desolder that leg. Yeah. Oh no, it goes right next to the leg. Okay, cool. I thought it was all over the leg of the capacitor. Right, so that one is here. So I've actually got a capacitor symbol there. I'll get this in focus. C515. What's it say there? Does it have a mark in there? Yeah, C515 on this board. Right, I'm going to mix the solder with some fresh threaded solder. Should make it a bit easier to get out. And then I will flip it over so I can grab the end of it and work it out slowly. And there we go. So I'll be interested to know what that reads. Let's go into capacitance. .2 nanofarads. Right, so this one is supposed to be a 22 nanofarads capacitor, and as you can see it's measuring 4. That's not very good. I do have a little ESR tweezer thingy, and let me just verify with that. Capacitance 4.2 nanofarads. So that's 150. It's like 100 and something ohms ESR. Equivalent series resistance, or whatever I call it. Let's check on a supposedly good one. Let's just check they got this right. Yeah, looks like the one. Well, what's that saying? 22, 44, 45. Oh, can't see what was there. 22 nanofarads and the resistance in the 40s. Okay. And we can double check again using the on-screen multimeter. 4. 21.7. Yeah, cool. Right. Not sure if that's going to fix it, but it's definitely way out of spec. So let's clear the holes. Let's stick some flux on that. Right, let's use some solder wick. Nice. and turn the wick around. And do the other side. Beautiful. And now we will clean with some isopropyl alcohol. I'll even clean up their mess as well. There we go. Fantastic. Right, so these are not polarized, so it doesn't matter what way you put it round. So I'm interested to know whether or not it says the same thing. 223J. I believe one is 5% tolerance. I might be wrong. 10% tolerance. I know the J is supposed to be a higher tolerance, or lower tolerance, whichever way you want to look at it. It's better capacitor. Closer to the actual figure that it says it is, 22 nanofarads. So I shall poke him in the O's. Right, a bit more flux. I'm using the MG Chemicals 8341, and I think I'm getting low. So a bit of flux on those. This just helps the solder to flow better, and it will clean up any oxidation or oxidation, sorry, and let the solder flow. Right, and then we use our little cutters to cut him. Like so, and then we give it another little cleanup. And finally I will use my little lint-free wipes. Just soak it all up. Okay. And there we are, back together. Just a bit of inspection around the board. Everything looks pretty clean. I did want us to make sure we've got no cracked solder joints. Being a soundbar and all, you know, it could be subject to a lot of vibration. It's a bit dodgy looking there. Which one is that? It's this one. Kind of looks like it has the beginnings of a crack forming. Alright, let's check these. Yeah, that looks like it might be forming a crack as well. I can see some stress fractures there. Yeah, I think I will go over this with a soldering iron and some fresh solder, just to eliminate that possibility. Right, I'll go over a few of those. I won't bore you with that, that's just reflowing solder joints. I'll do that quickly and come back. Right, I guess it's time to put it back together and see if it works. Well, the board is back in place and it's all connected up again. So let's see if we can get some music out of it, or if it will even turn on. Let's give it a go. It works! Yay! Awesome. Well, I'm really happy that is working, and the customer's going to be very happy, I suppose. And we've wrapped up another job. Thank you for joining me, and until next one, see ya.